Welcome to Growth Diary. Knowing how to do this shows that your emotional intelligence is very high. High emotional intelligence often becomes a person's plus point in our daily life, workplace, social occasions, and other occasions. But I found that many people have misunderstood the term emotional intelligence. For example, think that a person who can talk, flatter, and has a good temper is high EQ. And people who don't know how to be tactful and can't speak well are low EQ. With such misconceptions, the result is often to make a wrong judgment on a person. In today's article, I want everyone to understand more clearly and intuitively. The real high EQ is like this. 1. True emotional intelligence is by no means coaxing everyone, constantly apologizing to your boss after making a mistake at work. Others have forgotten about this matter, and you are still brooding about it. In fact, as long as others see you realize your mistake, it's basically over. People with high emotional intelligence can properly handle this kind of guilt, and there will be no such thing as repeated apologies. I think people with high emotional intelligence are divided into 4 parts. 1. Be aware of your emotions. 2. Be able to digest negative emotions by yourself and not express negative emotions on inappropriate occasions. 3. Know how to transform negative emotions into positive emotions. 4. And export this positive emotion to others. People with low EQ tend to be stingy with complimenting others. And people with high EQ know how to praise others from time to time, which is one of the behaviors to output positive emotions. When your boss scolds you for a mistake at work, people with average emotional intelligence may have already started to panic. I felt very scared and felt that I was going to be fired. I go to work every day in fear, apologizing to my boss every chance I get. This is a manifestation of inability to digest negative emotions. And a person with high emotional intelligence, when the boss criticizes him face to face, will not have a psychological breakdown and will be angry with the boss or cry on the spot. This is what happens when negative emotions are expressed in inappropriate situations. Knowing that getting angry doesn't solve the problem, they turn some of their negative emotions into positive ones. Those who can do step 2 are already regarded as people with high EQ. If they can do step 3 and 4, their EQ is almost beyond 90% of the people. 2. The real high emotional intelligence is by no means smooth and sophisticated, but knowing how to follow the trend. When you ask someone for something and talk to him, remember not to say too many polite and beautiful words. For example, you need to borrow 10 wireless microphones from a former colleague who has not been in contact with you for half a year because of the company's activities. Many people think that they have something to hold, and when they come here, they praise their colleagues vigorously and say a lot of beautiful words. I haven't seen Xiaolin for a long time, but I miss you. I bought some fruit and brought it to you. I thought I could get help from others in this way. As everyone knows, saying such seemingly high EQ words reveals his purpose too quickly. Expressing your intentions from the very beginning will virtually increase the pressure on the other party and make your colleagues subconsciously guard against you. The practice of high emotional intelligence should be important steps 2, 3, and 5. 1. Bring some gifts, show your willingness to visit, and go to a colleague's house. 2. Chat with old colleagues, but don't explain why you are here at first. The current projects are getting more and more difficult to do. 3. Bring up the past events to increase the feelings in the memories. When I worked on projects with you, I often asked you a lot of questions. But Kobayashi, you have taught me patiently. Often there is no one in the company, just the 2 of us. 4. Speaking of the life in the current company, lay the groundwork for the following requirements. After I resigned, I went to my uncle's company to hang out, and even let me become the deputy manager. But now the company's business is not doing well, and many times the funds cannot be reimbursed. 5. Before parting, inadvertently bring up business so as not to add pressure to the other party. I won't bother you if there's nothing else, I'll go back first. Hey, by the way, our company is preparing for an event project. Do you have that kind of wireless microphone here? This will not cause pressure to others, but also show your sincerity. It is true that I have the idea of reminiscing about the past, but it is best to ask about things by the way. Knowing how to follow the trend can make others comfortable quietly. The surface sophistication is just ordinary emotional intelligence. A truly high EQ will make everyone think you are warm and kind from the bottom of their hearts. 3. People with high emotional intelligence can build a relationship in a tricky way. When it comes to favors, everyone has the idea that feelings are very expensive, so be careful with consumption. But people with really high EQ, it is the ability to establish, enhance, and maintain a relationship through human relationships and tricky angles. People with high emotional intelligence know how to repay favors in batches to build a relationship. If you want to treat someone to dinner, remember not to ask for 500 yuan of Western food at one time, but to eat 100 yuan each time for a buffet. Just like in 30 Only, the friendship between Wang Manny and Gu Jia started with a high-end bag. Do you still remember the bag that Gu Jia carried to enter the circle of high-class wives? In fact, this bag was obtained by Wang Manny. Gu Jia in order to get this bag. Gu Jia met Wang Manny through Zhong Xiaoqin's introduction. Because of Zhong Xiaoqin's favor, Wang Manny. It took a lot of effort. I also contacted my former colleagues and said all the good things. Only then did he help Gu Jia find that high-end bag. Gu Jia owed Wang Manny a favor because of this. In order to help Wang Manny's former colleagues improve their performance, they often contact Wang Manny. The two came and went, and eventually became friends. So don't be afraid of defaulting on the favor of the other party. Repaying favors in batches is also a way of life with high EQ. Many people will choose to invite the other party to dinner to express their gratitude after they have finished helping you. But if you want to be friends with each other, the real way is to learn to default on favors, so that both parties have a reason to communicate with each other. 4. A real high EQ is equal to speaking half a degree. An English scumbag asked a person who passed CT8 for advice. I heard that you passed CT8, you are a master student. Xiueba said, fortunately, my major is English. So CT8 is easier for students majoring in English. A person with high EQ will certainly not be a sharp-edged person in life. Learn to speak modestly, otherwise even the closest friends will be jealous that you live better than him. In daily life, you can learn to sell miserably and narrow the distance with everyone. Emotionally intelligent people know. He has already shown his sharpness in workability and academic performance. Instead, you should be humble and friendly in private, so as not to attract others. A person who likes to read usually lives a more transparent life and is more humble and low-key. 5. People with really high emotional intelligence can be confused in small things and shrewd in big things. Make friends. On the premise of not sacrificing your own interests, when you can usually do a little favor, do a little favor. When you are asked to bring a small snack or item, you can also bring it. Can make you make good karma. A person with high EQ, seeing a good answer, is willing to spend 0.1 second to like it. Because he knows that even if he sacrifices time, he can see more high-quality answers in the future. Sacrificing a little interest in small things can be exchanged for greater benefits in big things. This is true emotional intelligence. 6. A person with high EQ is to live more conveniently, not as a tool for survival. Compared with those complicated routines, let others think that you are sincere and kind, but it is the highest emotional intelligence. Even if you are more direct, the other party will feel that you are considering it from his point of view, and it will not make others feel uncomfortable. If you agree, Give it a thumbs up and let's become a real person with high EQ together. That's all for this issue. Thanks for listening.